This is House Speaker Charles McCall, and you're listening to and watching Inside the House on Mitchell Talks.
This week on Inside the House, the Majority Leader, Jon Echols. Good to have you here, Mr. Leader.
Good to be here, my friend.
And we've known each other a long time.
Absolutely.
But for those folks who don't know you, who remember you as a state representative and some great legislation you passed.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about Jon Echols.
Well, I serve Oklahoma City. 100% of my district is in Oklahoma City, in House District 90. This is my 5th year in the Oklahoma legislature. I'm fortunate enough to be married to my high school sweetheart, have 3 amazing children at home that we take care of. I have my law degree. I own several small businesses, and I tell people all the time, I've had a lot of jobs. Yep. I do a lot of things, and I don't need another job. But this has been the funnest, most rewarding thing I've ever done, get to serve in the House of Representatives.
All right, well, you're right in the hot seat this year with everything that's going budget-wise. So let's ask a few questions. Are you ready?
Yes, sir, I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right, coming up, Jon Echols on Inside the House. Mr. Leader, tell us what is not being heard about the 2017 session. We hear all the bad, a lot of reporting about bad. Tell us what's good going on.
There really is a great deal of good going on in the session. I had an old speaker that had a great saying that said, "House not on fire doesn't make the news." So when you go to a neighborhood, every other house is looking great. It's the one that's on fire that's on TV. So here's some good stuff. I'm going to go policy, then I'm going to go budget. The policy stuff is we are moving smoother on the floor than any session that I've been here. We got done with floor activity a day early, which is unheard of in the Oklahoma House of Representatives. And we spent a full day, our last day of deadline week, just having high intense budget meetings, not passing policy, not passing laws, working on the budget. As my people tell me, they didn't send me up there to pass a bunch of laws. They want me to shrink government, to right-size government, but to fund core services and pass a budget. The next thing we're doing, which I'm really excited about, is if you go online, www.okhouse.gov, look on the very front page and go to floor activity calendar, you will see everything your House of Representatives is doing that day in order. You're a citizen advocate, you care about a bill, you want to know what we're doing that day, you can check it out right there. Now, here's the next thing that's not being reported on, and that's the budget. So that's the other big issue. We've been in budget negotiations since December. Now, remember, the House started by having, right before session, by having open on the floor, live streamed for citizens to watch, for every member to see, live streamed budget hearings. So everyone could hear it. We had the big 4 agencies come in, talk to us about their budgetary needs, what's going on. Now, since that time, there are enough ideas to fill this budget hole 2 times over. But as I've always said, writing a budget is not hard. It's passing a budget that's hard. So what we're doing right now is negotiating with both the Democrats, because in order to pass any revenue measures in Oklahoma, you have to have 76 members. I can't count to 76 with only Republicans. We're working with the Senate closely, figuring out where do they want to be, where do we want to be. And what is not being reported is I am confident, as I have said for months, we're going to have a budget that funds core services, and we're going to have a teacher pay raise. I believe both of those things are going to happen. If you look at the Oklahoma House of Representatives, we told you, the citizens, before session, we were going to do 4 things. We told you we were going to pass Real ID. Within 3 weeks, that was signed on the governor's desk, signed and done. We told you that we were going to fund and protect roads and bridges funding. We've done that so far. We told you we were going to pass a sensible teacher pay raise plan. We've passed that sensible teacher pay raise plan. It's a 1, 2, 3 plan. 1,000 next year, 2,000 the next, 3,000 the year after that. And we told you we were going to fix the budget holes and pass a sensible budget. We've already done 3 out of the 4. I'm telling you, 4 is coming. We are well on our way in these budget negotiations. And what's interesting for me, as somebody who's been around Oklahoma politics for a long time, we're actually further along than we've been any of the 4 years that I've been in the Capitol. So it's surprising when I see reporting that is doom and gloom and what's happening in the Capitol. We have an unprecedented level of transparency in the Oklahoma House right now. You have everything from this show where we're talking directly to viewers. You have Between Two Chambers, where you have the majority floor leader of the Oklahoma House of Representatives and Greg Treat, the majority floor leader of the Oklahoma State Senate. We do a weekly 6-minute segment telling citizens what's out there. The citizens are engaged. The information is there. And I guess the third thing, I said there was 2. There is a third big one this year, and that's criminal justice reform. And criminal justice reform this is something that the left, the right, the middle, we all agree. We don't want to be soft on crime, but we have to be smart on crime. We can't afford to do things the way we're doing. And the criminal justice reform bills are going great in the Oklahoma House. We passed 3 out of there. We have 5 coming over from the Senate. I think they're going to get off the floor. Big things are happening.
Is there any reporting or any sort of rumors, social media otherwise, that are just plain wrong?
Yeah, a couple things that are out there that are just not true. We hear so much negativity on the teacher pay raise, and it's kind of shocking that we didn't fund the teacher pay raise immediately with the teacher pay raise bill that came out. That's because the teacher pay raise is going to be funded inside the budget. That's the way this process works. When you see a title on teacher pay raise bill coming out of the Oklahoma House of Representatives, that is a commitment that we are going to find the money to fund a plan to give a solid teacher pay raise. And we're not going to do it on the backs of taxpayers. We're going to do everything we can to fund core services without being unduly oppressive on our citizens. Now, when you see the doom and gloom on it, which is really shocking to me, and it's just not accurate, those issues are being taken care of. And I would actually say you're going to see JCAB bills. Those are Joint Committee on Appropriations and Budgets. You're going to see some JCAB bills coming out in April. Now, session doesn't end until May, and I'll go on so far right now. I think we're going to pass a budget. I think we're going to pass it before our deadline date. I think it's going to fund a teacher pay raise, and it's going to fund core services.
For those folks who see coverage, and there was some this week where it was gloom and doom. There was no money in a Senate bill. People were just going, it's over. When you read social media, it's over. What do you say to people that get their coverage from news and social media who have lost hope?
Yeah, I would say, look at what we've done this year. That would be my direct response. We told you we were going to pass Real ID. We did it. We told you we were going to have a more open, transparent process. This has been as open and transparent as any process I've ever been a part of. And we told you we were going to pass the balanced budget. You know, I used to have an old saying, and I got it from my mom, actually, and it says, judge me on what I do, not necessarily what I say. That's what's going on now. Now, we have had some issues. We're first to admit that. We tried to go right out of the chute with a cigarette tax to have an increase in revenue. I voted for that out of the Appropriations and Budget Committee. The Democrats have said they are unwilling to vote on that unless we find other concessions to give them. We're in that negotiation process. I wish that wasn't happening. I wish we could just all agree this is a good move. We need to fund core services, but we can't. That's the political process, and we can't be surprised that politics happens in a political building. Now, you've known me a long time. I'm a self-professed policy wonk. That's what I like. I don't like the politics of it, but it has to happen. So if you look at the funding of core services and you look at the direction that we're moving in a positive direction. I would say wait, watch the process, see these JCAB bills coming out in April, then coming out towards the end of May. And I would go back and be wary of anyone that tries to convince you that this is not actually way ahead where we've been the last couple of years, because it's just simply not true. I think it's wrong to use scare tactics to make people believe things that are not necessarily true. Is it true that the teacher pay raise bill didn't have the funding mechanism in the bill? Absolutely. But to report it correctly, you need to say that's because the funding is going to come in the budget at the end of the year. Stay tuned for where we go with the budget, and big things are happening.
Let me ask you to address directly to teachers in Oklahoma. We've got Dallas-Fort Worth organizations and school districts coming up here doing recruiting. That seems to be where a lot of the doom and gloom is. Also, human services, people out there that are very upset. You've had a supplemental here recently. For those folks, what's coming in the future that would help them have some faith?
I'll make this commitment as the majority floor leader of the Oklahoma House of Representatives. I will put a bill on the floor that funds state government and will fund the teacher pay raise. That's going to happen. Now, here's what we need for the citizens to do. And I'm a member of OPEA. First thing I would say to our teachers and our public employees is thank you. Thank you for the hard work you do. It's unappreciated. I know at least it feels that way by many, but it is appreciated by me. It's appreciated by many that I serve with. So here's what I would tell you. We have an example in Washington, D.C. that we need to not follow. Everybody saw what happened with the ACA. I don't care what side you were on, whether you were on the side that that President Trump's bill didn't go far enough, if you were on the side that President Trump's bill went too far, what we saw was nothing. And that's not what the people wanted. The people sent us a mandate to govern. So here's the message I would tell you to help me by giving your elected members and senators and representatives. There are 101 members in the House of Representatives. And I'm telling you, there are 101 budgets. If everybody had their exact way, that's what they would do. Now, you can't make, as an elected official, the perfect the enemy of the good. Republicans need to show they can govern. And you constituents, call your representative, call your senator, tell them, I'm with you if you show me you can govern. You don't have to 100% agree with me. I say this all the time. I don't agree 100% with my wife, and I love her. It's okay that it not be perfect. But the issue is it better? So what I'm here to tell you is I believe the House of Representatives is going to pass a budget that is going to fund core services and fund a teacher pay raise. But it won't be without political courage, because every member there represents a different district. Every member wants things a little bit different. Every member has an exact way they would like things, which means those members, maybe it's an increase in cigarette tax and not gross production tax. You need to get on your member and say, if you can't get that, I want you to get what you can. Maybe it's gross production tax and not cigarette tax. Maybe it's more cuts than a member would like. Maybe it's less cuts than a member would like. What you've got to tell your members, citizens, and I need your help in this, is it's not okay to just be an obstructionist. We want people that will govern. We want statesmen. Now, I admit, and anyone that knows me will understand that may be an easy thing to say for me, because for me, politics is service for a season. This is not my life. This is not who I am. Who I am is in my law practice and my small businesses with my beautiful wife and my 3 amazing children. So it's easy for me to be real passionate, because at the end of the day, if I do the right thing and that's what cost me my seat, I'm okay with that. I get to go home to an incredible family and spend more time with 3 wonderful children who I see a lot more when I'm not in session. We need members to make the strong vote, the courageous vote that does the right thing at this time. And if we do that, if we show that we can govern, what I would tell the citizens is, judge us by our results. If we prove that it's not perfect, it's not the way everybody would want it. And do I think that there's going to be increase in budgets this year? Of course not. I mean, that's not going to happen. But I do think there's a possibility we can hold the budget steady as possible. We can look where inefficiencies, wherever we can find them. And I've said it from day one. I believe we are going to end up with a teacher pay raise in this state. And we've taken every step of the process, shown that we're committed to that.
Final word to the teacher, which you've just addressed, to the highway worker, to the state employee, to the folks out there with children on Medicaid, to all kinds of folks out there who are seeing this, all of this gloom and doom. Your one message, succinct message to people in Oklahoma here in the very early stages of April is
hope. If I had one message to the citizens of the state of Oklahoma, it would be hope. It would be that the state of Oklahoma's days are brighter ahead of us than the days behind us. It would be that I go to work and I serve with 101 members. Now, right now I'm talking about Democrats and Republicans that are doing their best to solve this problem, that they do the hard work, and that sometimes they do it behind the scenes and nobody gets credit for it. Sometimes they don't compromise their principles, but they believe in the principles of compromise, that it's okay not to get everything exactly how I want it. And I'm telling you to believe in the state of Oklahoma, to believe in, frankly, my new speaker, Speaker Charles McCall, in his first year at the helm, that he is working hard to get this done. I'm telling you to believe in Pro Tem Mike Schultz, his first year as Pro Tem. I'm telling you that when you have guys like Speaker McCall and even myself, we're doing this to leave a legacy. We're doing this to leave the state of Oklahoma better than we found it. Is it moving as fast as everybody would like? Absolutely not. But look at what we've done. We started with budget hearings, unparalleled level of transparency. We started by telling the citizens of the state of Oklahoma, divesting power from the floor leader's office and telling the citizens and the members, this is what's going to be heard and the order it's going to be heard. Unparalleled level of transparency. We started by passing the Real ID Act just like we said we were going to do, by finishing a day early and not hearing policy, but having intense budget negotiations and budget hearings. and we are going to have a budget that funds core services this year.
Well, Mr. Leader, it's good to have you in. Thank you so much for answering all the questions. For people that want to talk to you, talk to the leadership in the House, how do they get a hold of you?
Best way to get a hold of me is to email me directly, jon.echols@okhouse.gov. You can call my office at the Capitol anytime. Kay, my assistant, does an incredible job to help and take care of me. And I'm rare in that I give my cell phone all the time. It's 405-641-1854. Get a hold of me anytime. I love hearing from constituents and people with new ideas.
Okay, best of luck in the next couple of months.
Thank you, my friend.
All right, thanks very much. Tune in next week for more of Inside the House.